Hello and welcome to What Makes the Academy Exceptional. I'm glad to see you all with us tonight. My name, for those that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, is Jo Tuite, and I'm the Director of Admissions here at the Indiana Academy, and I will be your host for this program. We're so fortunate to have with us tonight Dr. Joel Olufowote, who's the Director of Academic Affairs, and he is going to share with you all things academic. And the thing that I love most about this program is you get to ask him questions. So be thinking about how you can stump him. With that, Dr. Olufowote, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Tuite. Yeah, as Dr. Tuite mentioned, my name is Joel, and I have worked at the Academy for 3.5 years now in this capacity as the Director of Academic Affairs. For those who are wondering, well, what exactly does a Director of Academic Affairs do? Since it's not one of the more typical titles in the high school environment. Um, I get to work with our faculty to ensure that they are providing students everything that they need to be successful in the classroom, to ensure that they are receiving the type of education that they come to the academy to receive. So I feel really privileged in my role where I get to work with some of the brightest and smartest individuals around the academy, and ostensibly ensure that each and every student who walks through our doors is successful and receives and achieves everything that they come here to encounter. So that is my role. My background is in college teaching. I taught on the college campus for about 15 years or so before transitioning into the academy in this administrative role. Um, and um, and yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Great, thank you so much. For those that are participating here in the Zoom room, if you have a question for Dr. Olufowote, just drop it in the chat box to either me privately or to everybody in the group. And if you're watching this on one of our social media platforms, you can drop your question in the comments, or you can email it to the email address next to my name on your screen. All righty, so let's get on with that first question that we have, and that is, can you tell us a little bit about the background of our faculty, where we recruit them from, how they come to us, that sort of thing?
That's a great question. Um, so if you take a look at our current faculty, we have 22 full-time faculty members. Um, they run the gamut of experiences prior to joining the academy. So I'll start off with requirements to be a faculty member at the academy, and then move on to some of the experiences our faculty come in with. So to be a faculty member at the academy, you must have a master's degree in the subject or discipline that you intend to teach at the academy. So baseline, all of our faculty members have the master's degree in their discipline. Uh, Today, about 11 of our, I think 12 of our 22 faculty members have the terminal degree, so a PhD in the discipline that they are teaching, or an MBA in the discipline that they are teaching. So about half of our faculty are terminally qualified and possess the PhD. Um, for those who are aware of the PhD, it's, generally speaking, considered a research degree. So you will find that a number of our faculty who hold the PhD, either prior to coming to the academy or concurrently with their role at the academy, they teach at the university level or do some kind of research at the university level, or did teach and research at the university level before transitioning into the academy. So So when we recruit and hire faculty to the academy, it is not unique for three-fourths of our pool to be from the college and university level, because of the requirements of teaching at the academy. We also have faculty who come from the more traditional high school level and have taught in the high school environment for several years, and with the subset of faculty who come from the high school level. They may have the PhD or they may have the master's degree. But one thing that I would say is a feature of all of our faculty is a desire for kind of, what I would refer to as Renaissance teaching, and teaching that captivates the students, that encourages curiosity, that provides ample space for both the student and the faculty to further investigate and further discover. So our faculty are exceptional, and one of the best things about the academy, at least from my role or my vantage point, is the ability to work, side by side our faculty. The last thing I'll say here is, because of the sort of profile of our faculty, you will find that a number of our faculty are really engaged in activity outside of the classroom. By and large, it returns back to the classroom for the students' benefit. But we shouldn't be surprised to see a number of our faculty who conduct original research, who are active with finding grants to fund research opportunities or student research opportunities, um, and several faculty members who are engaged in ongoing research, either with colleagues at the college level or side by side with students who are looking for that sort of opportunity. So our faculty are well-rounded. So to succinctly maybe answer that question, um, we generally speaking have a very collegiate faculty, and I'm not entirely sure we intentionally recruit faculty from specific places or spaces. But as long as a faculty member has the qualifications to teach at the academy and has a posture of, Renaissance teaching, we are always excited to add them to our faculty.
And they are quite the impressive faculty. I've dropped a link in the chat box for you to the bios of all of our faculty. And just to brag a quick second, they are ranked in the top 10 in the United States, and they are truly a passionate and engaged faculty. So next question for you, Dr. Olufowote. Can you talk a little bit about the classes that we offer? We have an incredible course catalog with a wonderful depth and breadth. So if you could share a little bit about that, that would be great.
Sure. I'll sort of start at the systemic level and then dive down as I continue. So the academy curriculum is a college curriculum. We have um oh gosh, anywhere from 120 credit hours or so worth of college credit available for our students to earn through our curriculum. That could either be earned through our dual credit courses that Academy faculty teach. By the way, this is why Academy faculty are required to have the master's degree, and many will have the terminal degree. Is all of our faculty are teaching college level classes, and there's a state requirement that you need to be either terminally qualified or have so many hours at the master's level in credits to teach dual credit classes in Indiana. So by nature, our curriculum is college level, and all of our classes are advanced. We don't necessarily offer the typical or traditional high school level class. So students can expect to find um, that the expectation is that they approach the classroom in a different manner than most typical high schools. The rigor is certainly increased, but we don't want to confuse that with just more homework. We believe in inquiry-based learning at the academy, and that is the framework that covers all of the classes that we teach. So um, faculty are not just disseminating information, and students are not just taking in information to memorize, repeats, and and be quizzed on. But the expectation is that students bring their own knowledge into the classroom and partner with the professor to delve deep into subject material, and the expectation is that it's a space for co-laboring, where students are working alongside each other to parse out ideas and to investigate themes even further. It's a very project-based space. So students will be given ample opportunities across our curriculum to work on mini projects that involve some of the things that we care deeply about, which is a student's ability to explore, and a student's ability to be challenged and approach the classroom and really in a sophisticated manner, similar to that of the collegiate environment. So I haven't done the math lately, but about 85% of our curriculum is eligible for college credit. So if a student is using their time at the academy wisely, there are opportunities to graduate and with anywhere between 20 to 40 credits worth of college credits at the academy. So that's the big picture about the academy curriculum. Uh, our classes run on a college style schedule. So here too, we are a little different than the traditional Indiana high school where the system is more by periods, back to back to back. At the academy, within reason, students have the ability to pick their schedule, and classes run for 50 minutes, three times a week, and lab sciences and some math classes and some world language classes will have a fourth day per week. But typically speaking, the schedule is three class periods per week for 50 minutes, most likely falling on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. So our students have the ability to pick different sections depending on how many sections are available for a particular course. Some sections may, some courses lend themselves to several sections because we have several students who are taking these courses as part of a requirement. And because of the different sections, a student, may opt for an 8 o'clock morning class or a section, or, maybe later in the afternoon, depending on, what their schedule or, morning habits look like. So there's much flexibility to our course schedule in a way that I actually really believe resonates with a lot of our students. And if you take a look at the contact hours at the academy, as compared to the traditional high school, because of our format, 50 minutes, 3 days a week, we have less contact hours than the traditional Indiana high school, but that extra time is where students are, should be doing homework and collaborative research. And so even though we have less contact times from, from faculty to student in terms of the classroom, it also opens up more time for students to study, do homework, so on and so forth.
Thank you so much. I've dropped the link to our course catalog in their chat box for you. So be sure to check out our amazing classes. Just as a quick reminder, if you're watching here in the Zoom room and have a question for Dr. Olufowote, you can drop that in the chat box to everyone or to me privately. And if you're watching on one of our social media platforms, drop that question in the comments, or you can email it to me at the address next to my name on your screen. The next question, Dr. Olufowote, is from a parent. The parent says, I've heard that the academic load at the academy is much greater. How can a student balance the heavier academic load and still have time to go to games, dances, hang out with friends, and be a normal kid?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, so I think the remark is a fair one, one that I would probably agree with. The academic rigor of the academy is probably higher than your traditional high school. You know, certainly if the majority of our curriculum is college based, one would expect that the rigor follows. So the claim I would describe the claim as an accurate one. And I do think that there is often the belief that, well, at places like the academy, I need to set aside some of my hobbies or some of my personal interests because of, you know, the expectations regarding coursework and the hours that, you know, the student will need to the extra hours that the student may need to put in. Um, and while I, you know, appreciate the sacrifices, I suppose, that students and families are thinking that needs to be made for a student at the academy, uh, we actually believe that students at the academy um, don't benefit from our entire experience by just focusing on academics. We because of and my residential the residential director, my counterpart on the residential side is not here today, but you know, the residential component of the academy is a driving feature of what makes us kind of what makes us special. And the residential feature of the academy provides ample opportunities for students to have community, ample opportunities for students to see games and plays and go to shows and we strongly believe that all of these things make a well-rounded student and is necessary for the maturation of the student, especially at this point in time of their developmental lives. So, and as I mentioned, because of our class structure, we actually have less contact hours than the typical Indiana high school or the traditional Indiana high school. So that does actually open up room and space for students to do a variety of things with their time. And I mentioned, you know, studying and doing homework is one of the ways that they can use that extra time, but so is making sure they're, you know, spending time with their community, making sure that they are you know, exercising good habits that positively impact their mental health and their well-being. Um, so there are great opportunities for students to remain balanced, to explore the co-curricular, even though the rigor of the academy classroom is probably a little higher than your traditional high school.
Thank you so much. The next question we have here for you, do you have any ongoing research projects run by students now? And if so, could you give me one or two examples?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a few. Over the last few years, we have tried to expand the opportunities provided to students to do original research. So I can talk a little bit about some research that is happening currently at the moment. So this morning, I actually approved a student to conduct research in the spring semester with a member of the chemistry faculty at Ball State University. And the student that we have who was interested in this opportunity is a junior who came to the academy because they knew they could have kind of expanded access to the field of study in which they are interested in. And after a semester, they said, "I really want to pursue this further, working on a lab or working with a researcher or a research scientist at Ball State." And we worked together to send an email asking if there are opportunities to join the research scientists lab at Ball State. They responded in kind, and that is research that will commence at the beginning of the spring semester. I am not smart enough to tell you what kind of chemistry research will be happening, but this is actually a continuation of a pretty robust relationship that we have with the chemistry department and their willingness to provide academy students access to the work that their faculty are doing. Another example that has been an ongoing research science opportunity for students um, is a class that students can take for academic credits, um, but who are interested in what it looks like to compose and design original research, um, to go through that process all the way through the publication stage. So last academic year, we had one student who was very interested in this, and alongside myself, we worked on an original project for the entire fall and spring semester that culminated at the end of the fall semester with a research design and a research proposal. And in the spring semester, we presented some of this work at local and national research conferences where we were able to receive some feedback on the work we were doing. We incorporated that feedback, and by May, the student hit send on a journal article that they on to a journal that they submitted their research to. And I'm happy to say we received a revise and resubmit for that work, and it's pretty neat for a high schooler to receive a revise and resubmit at this point in their career. Um, I don't know whether this is a positive thing for me, but unfortunately, the word got out that this is something that students have the ability to do, and we're excited about. So this year, I have three students who are doing the research science class with me, who are hoping to also, conduct a similar thing where by May, we have an original product that they will be submitting to, a journal to an appropriate journal, depending based off of their levels at the moment. So through this research science class, I'll be really quick here. Through this research science class, students are doing all the things that most people don't learn until maybe graduate school. How do you ask an interesting research question? What is the, puzzle that you are investigating? What is the broader, literature that you are adding to? What are some of the variables that you are interested in? What's an independent variable? What's a dependent variable? What relationship are you positing between the two? What theoretical model is influencing your work? These sorts of things, you can almost see the light bulb turn on with the students because they are amazed that I care very little about whether they are researching public policy or sports psychology or chemistry, but it's about the larger concepts of how do you create a convincing and compelling research agenda. So the student who I was lucky and privileged enough to do this with last year is currently a freshman at Vanderbilt, and he has texted me. He does text me quite a bit, but he recently joined. He recently joined a faculty member on the research that they are conducting, and he's very happy about being a second author, and I'm pleased to hear that this is carrying on, and I'm pleased to hear that this is deepening students love and interest with research. And there's several other opportunities where students have the ability to engage in broader research, whether it be with Ball State research scientists, whether it be with Academy faculty members, or with myself. I think one thing that's unique to the Academy is every faculty member has gone through the process of writing a thesis or a dissertation. So we are all aware of some of the universal concepts that need to go into that kind of work. And also, we have people all over the academy. Case in point, Dr. Tuite, who is well known for the research that she does on gifted ed, who is well known around the different professional organizations, is invited to speak about current research. So this is not just something that is sort of just part of academic affairs. We we hang our hat on curiosity, and it doesn't end. We hang our hat on students being able to investigate that curiosity further and examine some of these, some of the things that they're interested in. So, um, I would say that's probably one of the distinct elements of being a student at the academy is not just being able to shadow a research group, but being able to actually conduct your own research, and create original ideas, and I think it's pretty neat.
There are so many different pieces with the academy and the way it's been structured that gives students a real leg up on whatever their next step in life is. I think one of those things that can sometimes go unmentioned in these programs is our internships. Do you want to talk about those for just a moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that we are trying to build a little bit more. The internship arrangement that the academy has, predates my arrival at the academy. But as Dr. Tuitt said, it's something that has captured my attention, um, and that um, and that we have tried to expand through building, even more relationships with businesses, organizations, nonprofits in the local Muncie community, the larger Delaware County community. So our internships and apprenticeships really are what we refer to as experiential educational opportunities for our students, where they have the opportunity to earn academic credit by working and volunteering their time with local businesses and organizations that match their interest in some way, shape, or form. So, for example, we have several students who are interested in your traditional STEM fields, who are likely to go on to study some kind of medicine or something during college and after college. So we've grown a pretty thriving relationship with IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital here in Muncie, which is really just down the road from us. And each semester we have anywhere from 10 to 20 students who are choosing to intern at Ball Memorial. We also recognize, you know, we try and do our part with trends that we see in the States. So, over the last couple of years, there's been a vet shortage in the state of Indiana, and we believe we can close that gap. As best as possible. At least we can do our parts to close that gap. So we have we have cultivated relationships with several animal clinics in Muncie, several vet offices in Muncie, where students have the ability to intern at, also earn academic credits, but also, potentially further deepen their knowledge in the practice and increase their, enthusiasm to be part of the vet community or the animal hospital community, and thereby, potentially closing that gap that we see in the state of Indiana. Um, so we have students who intern at law offices. We have students who intern at Ball State University departments. Anywhere that's willing to partner with us, and as long as it's a safe environment for our students, we are always willing to explore those connections and those opportunities. So yeah, thank you for reminding me about that, Dr. Tuit. That is something that our students are, I think they are gravitating towards, and steadily increasing amounts.
It definitely provides them with an exceptional opportunity to test out a different field too. I'm going to pause questions for just a quick second and do what they used to call back in the day station identification. I'm going to share with you my screen. Let me see. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you see scan for Academy swag. All right. So I've placed on the screen a QR code, and if you want to take a moment and scan that, answer just a couple of quick questions, I will be happy to send you some cool Indiana Academy swag. I'm going to leave that on the screen for just a moment while I present the next question. Let's see. Can I take Ball State classes, and can I use my 529 college fund to pay for that?
So yes, for the first part of the question. Any student who is enrolled at the academy with instructor permission at the Ball State level and academy approval has the ability to take Ball State classes. Now there's a distinction here because Ball State classes can be kind of grouped into two camps. So we have the ability to take Ball State classes for high school credits or for college credits. Um, if the desire is to take Ball State classes for high school credits, there is a $55 fee that students are assessed, and ostensibly that routes students are enrolled in the Ball State class. They take all the assignments, they do all the, take all the tests and quizzes and so on and so forth, and will get a final grade at the end of the class that will go on their high school transcript. So if there is a course that for whatever reason we do not offer at the academy, say for example, organic chemistry, and a student is interested in organic chemistry, they have the ability to take that for high school credit at Ball State, and they will get a grade for that class. It's a $55 fee, and that class will appear on their transcript as a high school class. Students can also take classes at Ball State for college credits. And the fees here are a little more steep than the $55 for the high school credits. I don't have the numbers on top of my head, but you can expect to pay the tuition for those classes. They probably look pretty similar to the tuition that a full-time Ball State undergrad would pay for that credit. So those are the two ways that students can take a Ball State class. Um, I'm speculating here. I don't know the answer for certain. So uh, whoever's asking this may need to double check and correct. But the impression I get is Ball State will accept whichever way, whichever payment is possible. So if there is a fund available that could help pay for Ball State classes and the college credit available there, then I'm assuming Ball State would be amenable to that. But I'm not. I don't have the specifics in front of me.
Great, thank you so much. Next question is coming in from a parent. Can you talk about how students do in the college search and scholarship process?
Great question. I know I've mentioned a few of the distinctives of the academy. Well, here's another one. So we have a college and career center, where we have dedicated individuals and staff who help every single student journey along the college going process. And this is from the point of inquiry all the way through celebrating acceptances. So our college counselor, the biggest piece of her portfolio at the academy is to work with our sophomores, juniors, and seniors on college applications, on things related to financial aid and the FAFSA, things related to college essays, finding and applying for scholarships. We have a healthy electronic resource that all of our students have access to that has a list of over 200 scholarship opportunities that depending on student eligibility that they can apply for. That will certainly help minimize the cost of going to college. And we recently just got done. It's still early in the process, but we recently just got done celebrating two students who will be going to Columbia and Duke University respectfully. So our students tend to do pretty well with their adventures outside of the academy. But as most people know, most of these college decisions at this point in time comes down to what is affordable. So our college counselor also helps students and families consider that. It's one thing to be accepted into a Ivy League college or accepted into a premier institution of some sort. Um, but the cost is a reality of that. Students and families often have to consider the trade-off. Should we attend college and university in states where there's probably more financial relief than accepting an offer from, an Ivy League out east where tuition may be a little higher than in states. And I think the great thing about journeying through the college going process at the academies, you don't have to do it alone. We have a college counselor who is here to work with students with those same exact decisions that they have to make on the college going process. And our college counselor and our English department actually work hand in hand. to ensure that things like personal essays have, a few eyes on them before they go out. And just to ensure that the application packet as a whole is one that is convincing and compelling. We have students with appropriate high aspirations, who have aspirations to go to some of the best and brightest places around the nation and around the world. And every year we are celebrating some remarkable achievements. So I've been at the academy over the last 3.5 years, and we have celebrated acceptances to the University of Chicago, to the U.S. Naval Academy, West Point, Washington and Lee, acceptances to, in-state, powerhouses like Indiana University and Purdue Engineering, the best college in Indiana, the University of Indianapolis. I'm a I graduated from UND, that's why. But yeah, so we have Butler University, Rose-Hulman, as well. We are not short of the college celebrations to some of the more elite and selective colleges and universities around the nation. So our students do well on the college going process. They do well, and I don't want to steal that credit. A lot of them do well because we have exceptional students, but they don't have to do it alone, and many of them don't, because they can rely on the resources that we provide in-house, primarily through our college counselor and our English faculty.
Yeah, Mrs. Schultz and her team are pretty incredible. Just to share a little bit about how they're doing in that scholarship and financial aid process, they're self-reporting on average receiving in the neighborhood of $10 million each year. They're able to use about 6 million of that because some of it is associated with schools they opt not to go to. But for a school our size, that is absolutely incredible. And I always have to add here the caveat that we cannot guarantee or promise you that you will receive a full ride or scholarships to all of the schools that you wish to attend, but we do promise to make the resources available. And Ms. Schultz and her office are a fantastic resource. All right, we're going to change the direction just a little bit. I have a question coming in asking what the workload is going to be like here and about how many hours they should anticipate spending on homework.
Oh, so I often find it difficult to answer this question. Um, and not because it's a little different at the academy. And it's hard to put a number to um sort of the outside of the classroom expectations regarding, homework or anything else related to the classroom. So, um, here's how I'll answer that question. So, uh, we expect students to approach the classroom differently, and yes, most, if not all, of our classes, in comparison to maybe the traditional high school equivalent, is going to look like it's more rigorous. It's going to look, students are going to, approach it differently because of the expectations of what the rigor looks like. But increased rigor at the academy does not equate to more homework. And that's something that I want to be very clear about. Maybe in some cases it does. Um, but when we say the rigor is a little higher at the academy, in no way am I saying that just means you're going to get more homework. in your classes. So, and it really depends on the class you are taking. So some of our disciplines may lend itself to more homework than as compared to your, traditional high school in Indiana. It's likely that there could be a few courses that a student takes that where they recognize, oh, because I'm having to think about the work differently, or I'm having to approach the homework differently, I'm spending more time doing that than I did at my previous high school. Um, and then there are other classes where just what the homework looks like is very different than the traditional high school. And the expectations of what completing homework looks like could be very different than the traditional high school. So um, eh, I think sometimes it depends on how we conceptualize homework. If homework is something that all students bemoan, and if homework is something that all students see as like a necessary evil to, go to school, um, it's very likely that students are not going to see homework that way at the academy. It's very likely that homework may actually be exhilarating, and it may actually be something that students look forward to doing, because it encourages hands-on learning. It encourages, more like project-based curiosity. It encourages, a different approach to the work. Um, so this is why this is really tricky for me to answer at times, because I wonder how people are conceptualizing homework, and how they're comparing it with what to expect at the academy. If you love learning, if a student has a desire to learn, if a student has an inclination to be curious and to want to know more, if a student is captivated by an ability to experience academics outside of the classroom in a unique way. Um, they may very much see the academy homework as something they look forward to, as opposed to just, something that they have to do for a grade. So, is there more rigor in the academy classroom than your traditional high school classroom? I would I would say yes, by nature of having a college style curriculum. Um, but does that rigor equate to more hours of homework? I don't think that's the case across the board. I think the way that we ask students to approach the classroom, and the things that we ask students to consider and complete as part of requirements of the class, may just look a little different. And there are some students who may require kind of a stair-stepped approach to understanding what the expectations are. And that may require them put in a little more hours towards, the front end to become familiar. And there may be some students who this is what they've been looking for, this is what they've been wanting, this is how their brain works. And what what was kind of the monotone, boring homework at their home high school um that actually required them to do more hours at their home high school may actually take them less time to do here, just because of the compatibility of what we are asking of them and how their brain works. So it's not an even response here. But what I would say is, um, it is absolutely correct that we have a college style curriculum where the expectations of how students engage the classroom is a little different, which may require, some time for the students to sort of accustom themselves to. Um, but I would, although I'm not a full-time teacher, neither am I a full-time student, so I actually may not be the best authority on this, but um, I would say that homework at the academy um, is more likely to be something students enjoy than they bemoan. I would say homework at the academy, um, and especially because of the residential environment that we have. And I'm grouping our non-residential students here as well because they have full access to all of our residential halls and facilities and students. Um, so homework at the academy can also just be an opportunity to like work alongside other people who are co-laboring with you and go to Starbucks and drink hot cocoa and work on algebra together and these sorts of things don't necessarily present themselves in other places and spaces. So it's actually likely that students may look forward to the kind of work they have to do at the academy just because of the unique environment that we have, both academically and non-res and residentially.
Thank you. We have time for two more questions. So the next question up is from a student who says that they are currently participating in Project Lead the Way's engineering program and are curious if we have an engineering program.
We do, we do. We have a what I would describe as a hybrid computer science and engineering program. Um, where students have the ability to take 3 levels of engineering classes. So we have an introduction to engineering class that students can take. This is a lab science, so it does meet 4 days a week because of that lab. We have an introduction to programming, whether it be Python or C++ as well, that students have the ability to take at the academy. We offer AP computer science that has a lot of sort of the engineering concepts and components associated with that class. So off the top of my head, I can think of 4 to 5 courses that we offer, again, collegiate level courses that we offer at the academy that allow students to further their interests in engineering, computer science, programming, so on and so forth.
Great, thank you. And for our last question this evening, can you talk a little bit about the different services that we offer students to help them to stay on track and to keep from struggling with burnout and that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a real concern. Um, it's a real concern that we recognize we have a responsibility to assist in any way that we can. The academy is a unique place, and we certainly don't want students to feel like this is a sink or swim environment where we just sort of throw you in the deep end and see what happens just by observing from afar. So we have a wraparound system of support services that we offer through academic affairs, and I will mention some of those things here in a bit. But we also have a network of therapists and counselors at the academy who also assist, some in more formal ways, others in more informal ways, with ensuring that students are being well taken care of, that their mental health and well-being is being prioritized, and that they are making steady progress towards their graduation goals. So, even though within the Office of Academic Affairs, we do offer quite a bit of support for students who may find the transition to be especially challenging. There is much good work being done outside of the bounds of academic affairs that also is in ensuring that students are operating at their fullest potential and prioritizing their mental health and well-being. So so within the Office of Academic Affairs, um, similar to the dedicated personnel we have for college counseling, we also have dedicated personnel for student support and academic advising. So here too, students don't need to do this by themselves. Actually, they can't do it by themselves. Each student who comes into the academy is partnered with an academic advisor who is a member of our faculty, who they will meet 3 to 4 times per semester to talk scheduling, to take a look at some of the classes that they need for requirements for the Indiana diploma, to take a look at classes they just want to take because they are naturally interested in them, and to ensure that they are making steady progress from year to year. Um, we have a an administrator within academic affairs, who the faculty advisors report to ensure that they are being given good guidance, to ensure that students again are progressing well along their academic journey at the academy. So that's one type of support that we offer through sort of advising and academic guidance. But we also do offer support such as study skills and time management and what it looks like to prioritize the important things, and how to stay focused in environments where you have competing demands on your time, and students have a freedom and flexibility at the academy where um, they get to choose how they spend their time, and you will find that the transition from the traditional high school in Indiana to the academy is often met with some challenge, and appropriately so. So here is an area where we fully recognize that um, we can't just wait and see what happens. We need to be preemptive, to ensure that as students are transitioning to the academy, that the things we know that students may see or feel challenged with, that we are preemptive in providing them that kind of support. And that's an across the board thing. So there is not necessarily, a person within academic affairs that this work is dedicated to. All of us share that. I don't want to call it a burden, but all of us share that responsibility to ensure that students feel like they are being offered the guidance, that they are being offered the support they need at a particular point in time, to ensure that they succeed here. So, yeah, the academy can present some challenges to students as they transition. Some of it is maybe because of the academic program. Others may be because of some of the freedoms that exist with our residential program. Some of it is because they miss mom and they miss dad and they miss little sister or big brother, and helping students transition, even with those unique certain circumstances, is something that we don't take lightly. We recognize that transitioning to the academy is a sacrifice in many ways, for students and families, and we want to make sure that we are doing all that we can to help support that transition.
Dr. Olufowote, thank you so much for joining us tonight and for all the great information and insight that you've shared. Before you all take off, I want to share my screen with you just one more time. We have, since it's a short month with the winter break for everyone, we just have a couple more programs coming up this month, including this Saturday, when you can join me online again for a career exploration, where we'll be diving into all of the different fields associated with technology. We have some wonderful experts joining us for that. So definitely take a look at our website. There's a QR code there for you to scan where you can go on, read more about that, and get signed up. You can see there on the screen in front of you, though, that we do have a variety of different programs. Some are parent-oriented lunch and learn programs. And then at the first Tuesday of every month, I invite all of our students to join us for our ambassador chat, where you can jump online and talk to some of our current students and ask them the questions that you have and just hear them talk about what their days are like and the things that they're excited about and things that they're learning. And then just one more quick mention, we do have an on-campus Discovery Day coming up on Saturday, January the 18th, where you can come in and tour the facilities, hear more from Dr. Olufowote, as well as Dr. Dane Kavars, our executive director, and Mr. Paul Douglas, our director of residential and student affairs. You can talk to students and parents, and it's a fantastic day that will provide you with wonderful insight and opportunity at the Academy. Again, those are just a few quick sneak peeks of upcoming programs, so be sure to scan that QR code and take a deeper dive into what we have to offer, and I would love to see you at some of our future programs. I want to thank all of you for joining us here this evening, and again, Dr. Olufowote, thank you so much. Wishing you all a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye now.
Thank you, Dr. Tuit. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.